Hello, and welcome to the second episode of this series of podcasts called Creating Value here at Discredis, where basically we talk about the future of engineering, technology, and the people shaping it. Today, we will talk about something very important when it comes to good project management, and that is AI in project management. And we have the perfect guest for that, Sophie, who's running the project management office here at the company. Welcome, Sophie.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be here.
So are we. So, Sophie, before we get into AI, let's start with the basics. Would you be able to introduce yourself, your role, and also the role of the project management office here at Discredis?
Absolutely, no problem. My name is Sophie Wendis, and I'm the head of PMO for Discredis. And our job is to be the backbone of the company. We have multiple business units, and we are a support function that services all of those business units. We're there to safeguard business, and we're also there to safeguard projects. We are made up of around 20 PMs that look after just the solution side, which is when we extract projects, create our own deliverables and deliver those back to the customers as packages. And we are there to ensure that that safeguarding happens, that we are the glue between the different people. We have our own philosophy of project management called Project Excellence, and that is there to enhance the way we do project management, which is based on Prince2 foundational foundations.
Nice, thank you. One question to get you a little bit warmed up would be about project management in general. What is one big misconception that people have about project management? What do they believe it is, and what is it in reality?
So generally people believe that project managers, I think they believe in any case, or what I've come across is that they're administrators, that they are just there to kind of push paper around or control people within their hours, when in actual fact that they're also to be the glue of the project, to ensure that everybody is singing off the same hymn sheet, that everybody has visibility of how the project should go together and see the vision of what is the actual objective of the company, and so the business case. We don't work within the general triangle of time, cost and quality. There's other things we must consider, like the benefits, the disbenefits, the reputation of the company, the investment that we're putting in. You invest in people's time, the resources, and also the well-being of people. So it's not just making sure something is delivered to a cost or a time. We also need to make sure that the customer has a good experience. So that's also a different type of investment that we're making within each project, and these are valuable things. If your customer doesn't have a good experience, yes, you might have delivered on time and on cost and quality, but they won't ever come back to you because they didn't have a nice experience with you. So there is many different aspects to making sure that people have a good experience within a project.
Very nice. So I hear that is defining value in different ways, which I hear also is the way we define value overall as a company now in Discredis, be it improved efficiency in some parts, but it can also be something a little bit less tangible, like risk management, quality, even people well-being. It can be different things.
Absolutely, and this company does definitely prides itself on the well-being of people, and making sure that everybody has a fun project and something fun to go to work with. Well, a PM helps enhance that, because if someone's working in chaos, they have no idea what's going on, or they're very much siloed in what they're doing, then it's not fun for anyone. So a PM can enhance that by being that glue, connecting people up together. And we have very likable PMs for that reason, so they can connect everyone up together and make sure that everybody feels that they are part of a team and part of a good project that's going to deliver well. And I think everybody enjoys that when there's a nice project, a good technology that they're delivering, and a nice team environment. And that's really what makes your day-to-day working life fun to be around.
Nice. Okay, so now that we have the basics, let's zoom out. AI is the topic we're here to talk about today, especially in PMO, but also in general. What's your overview of AI in business, and especially in a business like Discredis, which is an engineering consulting firm?
Okay, my view is that I started my journey on AI in probably quite a negative way, in the sense that when AI sort of started becoming quite popular, obviously everybody's encouraged to try it out and see how you could use it and things like this. And I found, being English, a lot of people using it to I don't know, rewrite an email or something like that. And I found the quality that you would get out of it was not all that great. And I thought, well, I could just write that better than myself, and so I didn't see the value in the beginning of it. But then I went on my maternity, and when I came back, within 7 months, things had sort of advanced quite a bit within AI, and I sort of encouraged myself to try it again. And then I started to see such an advancement, and also we have some PMs are very, very skilled within the PMO, and they sort of showed me the ways to the light and to take another look at it, and showed me the options and how to perhaps get the best out of the AI. And I have now seen that it really is allowing us to advance how we do things, do things quicker, make more informed decisions when we have very much time constraints all the time, and be more cost effective in how we're moving forward. So my opinions changed quite a lot. And I also originally was concerned that perhaps it was taking roles away, but what it's really doing is enhancing how we're working and getting us to that next level. And also not having to worry so much about more administrative tasks. For example, when you have to review a contract might be 50 pages long. But if you were to make sure you put the right context within an AI and then put the document in, it'll pull out the main points. So you still review them, you still understand what is going on, and you make informed decisions, but you're not having to read a 50-page document for the sake of 2 or 3 points that are valid to your business. So it really has accelerated things for that reason. So I see, as a business, it's allowed us to be more agile, more quick, and I think it does also inform how we make quotations, in the sense of some people get perhaps a bit worried about adding too many hours in, or maybe they've added too many hours in because they're worried. But now that they can get the right information, they can then make and assess the right decisions to put in the right amount of hours for a quotation, meaning that we can also be more cost competitive.
Okay, so you mentioned that in 7 months while you were pregnant, the use of AI has increased a lot. I think we all have different experiences with the use of AI today. So we have people that use it on a daily basis, people that are a little bit reluctant to use it, or people that start using it but are late adopters, let's say. How do you believe we should deal with this kind of different situations for the different people inside a company that wants to use AI?
It's a great question. Within my department, we have about 20 PMs who focus just solely on solutions projects. So again, just for context, a solution project is what we call projects where we extract everything and we are creating and delivering the deliverables rather than placing someone within the organization of someone else. So within those 20, we have some people that are very, very strong and very much leading the way. And then we have some, as you say, late adopters that are not really there yet, or indeed just picking up at the time being. So they're not really using the AI to the fullest of its capabilities. And you can see the difference in the day-to-day work. Often the way that they execute is a little bit slower. Perhaps the quality of maybe an offer or something is probably not the same level. And so you can start to see the difference. So what I've been doing to ensure that we try and level it out is use the people that are strong and that are very keen on it, to have one-to-ones with the ones that perhaps late adopters are a little bit weaker, to show them the ways forward to ensure that they can up their game. And so far we haven't had people that are adverse to it, just people that need to know how to go about using it, that perhaps a little bit worried about what to use it for and how to go about putting it in place. So that's really the only issue that we've had. So what we do is a bit of mentoring and sparring with people that are perhaps a bit more advanced in it.
Okay, so mentoring and training is the way forward in this. I get it. Let's get a little bit more concrete now, maybe. What are the tasks that you can use AI for already today, and you are probably already doing inside the business? What is, as a PM, something that is very nice to use AI for? For example, you mentioned quotation. Are there any other examples that you have in mind?
Yeah, so originally we started using it for transcribes. So the very first thing we started using it for in the PMO was transcribes of meetings, because we're also a very international company. So often we have multiple languages, can be quite difficult to understand what people are actually saying. So getting transcribes, exact meeting minutes was quite critical to ensure that nothing was misheard, that we have something quite exact, especially because these meeting minutes are often the backbone of decisions or agreements that we've made with customers and things like this. So it was very, very important to ensure that we are getting the right information. So that was number one. After that, we started expanding into quotations. So we take a chunk of information, and it has to be said within a area of the AI tool that is internal and not for the web, where we put in all the information of our offer and ask it to start summarizing different parts of it. For example, what are the key risks? What are the key commercial constraints? What is the key deliverables? And things like this. And then that allows us to start basically forming the team and given the right information to start with, and then build from there. Also, when they then feed back into us with their parts, we can then use AI to basically build the structure of the quote and input the information very, very quickly. So it's just allowed us to speed up the quotation process in actually creating a quotation. However, since then, my eyes have been opened a little bit, and we are now thinking, well, that's a little bit small, in the sense that we're not really exploring the greatest extent of what the AI can do. So now everybody's dazzled me with what it can do. We're now looking into more, how can we look at the end-to-end process of setting up a project, making a bid. So a bid process would include getting an offer in from the customer, understanding what the offer is about, setting a team, building a quote, making sure it's within our systems, setting up a project area within SharePoint or something of that kind, sending the offer off, and then analysing perhaps all of the contractual requirements. So it's an entire process. If we could set an agent up to basically connect all our systems together, that would be the setup of the project or the bid, and then also analyse everything, then we could actually almost spit out a bid that is straight away, that we can then just review and check that is correct with various inputs. So we're now looking at how much of that chain can we do within AI, as opposed to focusing on one specific area. So the next involvement might be other areas being more connected together. And then on top of that, there's also the execution of project. You know, once we've won it, then we actually need to execute it. So how can we then use AI to be more efficient on how we execute? So again, we're looking at the entire value chain there. And then on top of that, we also have the management side. How can I see what is going within the projects? How can I use my time wisely to focus on projects that are perhaps struggling, or indeed pick out the right success stories? Well, to do that, I need AI to basically give me reports on what is going on within the projects, so I can then focus on the summary that makes sense, to focus on the top 3 worst projects or the top 3 best projects. So utilizing AI to also give me reports and data that I can then use to see how I manage and spend my time is also very useful.
So you mentioned at first that the first thing that AI was helping with was the speed of like accelerating how projects are run and etc. However, as you mentioned also at the beginning, we define value in different ways, right? It could be improved profitability, it could be improved quality as well, reduced risk, not only improved speed, or it can be improved efficiency as well. What's your take on AI? Where is it contributing the most in this whole scheme of value creation in a company like ours?
I think in general it's on decision making, so which can come in various forms. It might be the quality of a delivery of a bid. For example, we talked a bit about bids. So for example, if there is a big EU funded bid, it would require say 20 documents to be delivered into the bid in a very short space of time. So to decide whether you're going to bid on something like that, you may well want to put everything into AI and to give you a summary of what it is you actually need to achieve to be able to input into the bid. Because if you cannot answer all of it, then there's no point in putting the effort in to submit, because you will not win. You need to make sure you answer everything. So it is very much decision making. Also on risks, how we're reducing risk, making sure that we have captured everything. So if you get a couple of 100-page document that you need to review when you're starting an execution or on a bid, you need to know that you can achieve it, that you're not going to miss anything. Or if you are, how can you limit the scope, ring fence it to stop us having to need to perform to that level? Well, you only really know that if you make sure you haven't missed anything. And putting into an AI could allow you to see what you're missing or what you're not missing, or whether you've fully covered what you're supposed to cover. On top of that, literally yesterday, we were having a discussion about we need to place a person on an audit in Canada. We have no Canadian people, but we have a US-based citizen. We needed to know whether we could place them there within a month's time to do a specific work package. Well, we have no idea what is the process of getting a visa for a US citizen or anything like this. So we used AI and we said, okay, what is the standard process for creating a visa for a US citizen? What is the quickest way of doing it? And things like this, which has allowed us to navigate our decision. Do we go with this US guy, or do we subcontract to a supplier in Canada because we cannot get the speed required to make sure that person can meet the deadlines? So that would be an example of how you can harness AI to make good decisions. So I think it influences in many different ways, but I think the critical point is we need to make decisions. And we need to use our time wisely to make decisions. So AI allows us to enhance our decision and making ability within the company. Nice. And that just doesn't really stop at project management. That could be all the management within the company has to make decisions at some point or another, and they need to enhance how they're making the decisions.
And I feel that is something understood widely, I would say, across the company, because we know that there is this company-wide effort to enhance the use of AI overall in the company. So my next question would be, how are you integrating it already now in your workflows? You were talking before about some agents that you're already using. What's the effort in the project management office right now to enhance the use of AI?
Well, the project management office is the backbone of the company, in the sense that we are a support function that service all the rest of the departments. So we are there to make sure that we safeguard the company in general. So with that in mind, the AI budget that we have as a company is very much focused on project management. So as we speak, we are now doing a workshop to assess where should we start, what should be the main focus. We're looking at the two areas: execution and where I want to go personally with execution, and bids and how do we execute those faster and what have you. So there is some implementation I would like to do with how we start to control projects via risk, and for that reason we are going to do a workshop to understand where we need to go. At the moment we are still using it for meeting minutes. We're using it for meeting minutes, we're using it for quotations, we're using it for all the things I've discussed previously. We're already using it for all those things. But now, as I said, my eyes have been opened. I want to see where else we can use it and how much of that value chain can we do, so we make sure that our time is value added. We are not administrators. PMs are often mistaken for being administrators. We are not administrators. We are there to be that glue, make the right decisions and steer the ship. And we should not be bogged down in tasks that can be done by AI, essentially.
You were mentioning that for some projects we rely on AI's understanding of an overall project, like the EU-funded project you were mentioning. How do you ensure that the data behind AI is reliable overall?
It's a very good question. Most PMs are very cynical, so they don't believe anything that they see or they hear, and they like to investigate fully. The very, very good PMs are very, very cynical, and I'm also that way. So I tend to perhaps put it in AI and then perhaps go and do some second checks. So I might then pull up the document, check where it says that, make sure it's wording, because sometimes AI, yes, it's very advanced, but sometimes it does misunderstand what it is you're trying to say. And maybe you could argue it's the quality of the context that you're putting in. You need to be very, very clear on your context. You need to build the body around your context. And if you're not that clear, then it can spit out results that are not really very good. And then secondly, it's very, very important to actually read what it says, because it's really building something around a context and how good you've defined it. If you haven't defined it very well, then what it's sends you in the end, it might not actually be quite what you're looking for. So it is incredibly important to check it. I always see it as a bit of a starting point. So for example, you could say, give me all the risks as what you can see in this project. Sometimes it will still be quite generic. So then you still need to go and say, right, the engineers, this is the starting point of where we are. We see this is the general risks. Let's now drill down into each area. So it doesn't replace people, it's to enhance the starting point, or indeed the milestones along the way.
So AI is powerful, but it needs some guardrails also. So how do you approach the aspect of confidentiality or compliance when it comes to AI data, especially in a company like ours where confidentiality is of utmost importance?
This has always been an issue, confidentiality in general as a company. We have to make sure that we abide by our contracts that we have with our customers, but also our morality, what is right to do and what is wrong to do. And the thing about AI is it's such an emerging technology, and it's really kind of developed awfully quickly. You know, it's really gone on very, very quickly. Everything else is sort of catching up. In the beginning, everybody's sort of using a bit of AI, maybe for their own personal development or use to do emails or whatever else. But now it's becoming, I think, more and more industry standard. And for that reason, our company has gotten very quickly into making sure that we are using a work-based AI where we can put our own data in there. And in actual fact, yes, we have to be very, very careful on confidentiality, but it's also a way of us harnessing power, really, that with more data that we have internally to our company, that we can harness tools like this, the more that we have that we could at our fingertips to use. So stuff like COPS, our best practice area, you know, they use that a lot to allow us to have more data pulled together that we can then utilize within the company. But yes, there's always this difficulty of data and control of data and confidentiality, but that was always there before. The important thing to say, I think, which you could argue maybe is not specifically related to confidentiality, but how do we use AI generally, is that the business has to move with the times. If it doesn't move, it will die, it will stagnate and die. And part of that road that our company understands very well is that we need to move with AI, and we need to be at the forefront of this technology, and we need to keep pushing forward to allow us to move with the times and to still be ahead of the game. And it's very, very important that with these issues of confidentiality and how we need to move with AI, that we still continue to try and run with the changes as we move along.
Looking ahead, with the emergence of AI, what makes a good project manager in the future? Question one. And question two, what do you answer to the people that say, oh, but project managers will be replaced by AI in the future? What's your take on this?
Well, AI in general is a big topic. It's something I discuss with my friends. It's something that's discussed at work. We discuss it in PMO, but we also discuss it generally at management. And I think there has always been this fear that it is a replacement. But I think it really, as I said before, as the key usage is to enhance decision making or the quality of decisions that you make, it cannot really replace you, because it's always whatever you're putting into it. Sometimes you do see that things have become a little bit too AI, so I think that there is a balance to be had there, that people don't just put things in mindlessly. It's there as a tool, just like any other tool that you might use within the workplace. You know, we have CAD tools, we might have software tools or whatever else, and they're a tool to allow you to do your job. And AI is really just another tool. It's just a very, very modern tool. So I think that that's how I see that. The advice I would give to any PM is don't be afraid of it. Use it as an enhancement for you to be more efficient, to do your job quickly, and to get rid of the little administration tasks that are really not value added to what you can offer as a PM. A PM role is evolving. It isn't just a case of executing a project against a deliverable. We need to understand the commercial mindset. What is going on commercially within that project? How is that project coming into the company to have a proper business case that's going to be value added for a company, to be investment in change, as we'd call it, and how does it then follow through to give us a good benefit, not a disbenefit? And to do that, we need to be value added in the work that we're providing. PMs generally are quite expensive for a project, so they need to be value added. Doing minor administration tasks, reviewing large quantities of documents, and everything that AI can perform for you is not value added for a PM to do themselves. So it basically evolves the PM's role and makes them more critical within a project.
So it's the famous saying, AI won't replace you, but someone who does know AI might, I guess.
It's exactly that. I do see that, if people choose not to adopt AI, I think that there could be, yes, a replacement of that person with someone that would adopt it. But at the same time, I think that's true for all of the different disciplines that you might see. The other day I saw that one of the software guys had redesigned something, a mechanical item, using AI. And of course, then the mechanicals get worried about that. But in the end, it's an image. Still behind that needs the requirement of a mechanical, but it gets you so much quicker to a stage where you could be starting to have an actual conversation with a customer about something because they can visually see it. So it has its purpose and its place, but it certainly, I don't think, replaces years of understanding of those particular disciplines. And a PMO is a discipline and an art or a craft in its own right, and it's no different to any of the other disciplines where you would have to use this to enhance your skill sets. So I think that yes, you would need to get with the times, but again, that's the same with business. Things move, things change and evolve, and you must move, change and evolve with it. Every day is a school day. You never stop learning. So I think that you need to continue learning and evolving with business and work life. Yeah.
Very, very interesting. So I understand the skills of a project manager also evolve with time, and the future will also be like that.
Absolutely.
The very last point is you mentioned some advice already to project managers, but if we have some very young project managers that get started with their career right now, with the future in front of them, with probably AI along the way, what's one advice you would have for them?
Yeah. Well, an advice for them would be, it is a tool. Like everybody that is good at their job, you get good at your tools. You know when to use them and when not to use them. But importantly, know your craft. Really hone in on the foundations of Prince2. Reach out on Project Excellence for us as a company, and we will tell you about it. And learn your craft, and then utilize the tools around you, including AI, to enhance your craft. And the PMO is a craft just like any other engineering in discipline, and therefore you should hone your craft and utilize anything around you to support you to enhance it.
Sounds very, very good. Thank you so much, Sophie, for sharing all those insights. And for everyone listening, please, click like, just follow Creadis on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify. We have some more podcasts coming along, so just follow us. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.